The Maldives, a floating kingdom of coral and culture. Far out in the Indian Ocean, scattered like strings of emerald beads across the sapphire waters, lies the Maldives. To the traveler flying overhead, the islands appear as tiny rings and crescents, atolls formed by living coral, shining like a necklace cast gently on the sea. This archipelago is unlike anywhere else on Earth. It is the world's lowest-lying nation, yet it stands tall in cultural depth, history, and resilience. A nation of dots on the ocean. The Maldives stretches south of India and Sri Lanka, spread across 26 natural atolls and more than 1,200 islands. Only 185 of these are inhabited, but each has its own rhythm of life. Imagine a country smaller than many world cities, just 300 square kilometers of land. Yet when counting its maritime territory, the Maldives spans nearly 90,000 square kilometers, 99% of it water. This makes it a country where the ocean is not just scenery but the very essence of existence. The capital, Male, is a wonder in itself. At only 6 square kilometers, it is one of the most densely populated spots on Earth, packed with high-rises, markets, mosques, and government buildings. From above, it looks like a miniature city floating in the middle of nowhere. Nearly 1/4 of all Maldivians live here, squeezed between turquoise lagoons and the endless ocean. For decades, the only way to reach Male from the international airport was by boat, but a modern bridge now links the two islands, a sign of how the Maldives is adapting to the future while holding on to its traditions. Other parts of the country are far more tranquil. Adu Atoll in the south, for instance, has the longest road in the Maldives, connecting several islands across reefs. Fuvahmulah, another southern gem, is so unique it is often called a one-island atoll, home to freshwater lakes and fertile soils unlike anywhere else in the country. The dream of paradise. For millions of travelers, the Maldives is synonymous with luxury. Overwater villas with glass floors, private infinity pools, and sunsets painted in gold and crimson have made the islands a top honeymoon destination. Guests can literally dive into the sea from their balconies, swim with manta rays, or dine underwater in glass-domed restaurants surrounded by schools of fish. Yet the Maldives is not only about luxury resorts. On local islands, life moves at a different pace. Streets shaded by coconut palms echo with the sound of children playing soccer. Fishermen still take their brightly painted dhonie boats out to sea. Families gather in courtyards for meals of tuna curry and flatbread. Travelers who venture beyond the resorts discover a world where tradition still beats strongly, where people welcome guests not with polished service but with warm island hospitality. Nature's fragile gift. The Maldives exists because of coral. The atolls rest on the Chagas Laccadive Ridge, an underwater volcanic plateau, and over millennia, corals built rings around ancient sinking islands. Today, the Maldives hosts some of the richest coral reefs on the planet, nearly 200 coral species, more than 1,100 species of fish, sea turtles, dolphins, whale sharks, and countless crustaceans. Some beaches even glow at night with bioluminescent plankton, turning the shoreline into a starlit dreamscape. On land, nature is more limited. There are no mountains or rivers, only small freshwater ponds and lagoons. Soil is thin and salty, so farming is difficult. Islanders grow coconuts, papayas, bananas, and breadfruit, but most food, especially for tourism, must be imported. The sea provides the staple, tuna. Maldivian fishermen pioneered pole landline fishing, a sustainable method now admired worldwide. Tuna, especially skipjack and yellowfin, is not only a favorite dish but also a national symbol, alongside the white-breasted waterhen. The Maldivian people. With around 500,000 inhabitants, the Maldives is Asia's smallest country by population. The people call themselves Maldivians or Dive Hai. Their language, Dive Hai, is a cousin of Sinhalese but has its own elegant script called the Ana, written from right to left and influenced by Arabic. Though English is widely spoken, especially in tourism, Dive Hai remains the language of the heart, poetry, and family life. Ethnically, Maldivians are a blend of influences. Centuries of seafarers passed through these islands, South Indians, Sinhalese, Arabs, and even Africans, leaving traces in culture, food, and appearance. The southern atolls, for instance, have slightly different dialects and customs than the north, while the people of Minicoy, once part of the Maldives, now under India, share strong cultural ties. Religion plays a central role. The Maldives was once Buddhist, and ancient ruins of stupas still lie buried under sand and palm trees. In the 12th century, Islam arrived, and the nation became Muslim almost overnight. Today, Islam is the official and only permitted religion for citizens. Non-Muslims may visit, but public expressions of other faiths are not allowed. Despite these restrictions, hospitality toward guests remains one of the Maldives' strongest traditions. Culture of the sea. Everything in Maldivian culture points back to the ocean. Traditional music features drums made from coconut wood, and dances often mimic the rhythm of waves. Lacquered crafts, woven mats, and finely carved boats are passed down from generation to generation. Festivals bring whole communities together. During Eid, islands light up with feasts, games, and music. And in everyday life, people rest in joli, swinging daybeds, sip tea with neighbors, and tell stories of sea spirits and mythical creatures said to haunt the lagoons. A history of resilience. The history of the Maldives reads like a saga of survival. The earliest settlers likely came from South India thousands of years ago, followed by Sinhalese migrants. Buddhism flourished here until the 12th century, when a mysterious traveler, legend says an Islamic scholar who banished a sea demon, convinced the king to convert to Islam. From then on, the Maldives became a sultanate. Foreign powers tried to control the islands. The Portuguese briefly occupied them in the 16th century, but locals rebelled and drove them out. Later, the British made the Maldives a protectorate, guiding its foreign affairs while leaving daily life largely untouched. Independence came in 1965, and by 1968, the monarchy was abolished in favor of a republic. Tourism began in the 1970s, transforming the economy almost overnight. But challenges soon followed. The devastating tsunami of 2004 destroyed villages and infrastructure, and rising sea levels continue to threaten the nation's very survival. In recent years, Maldivian leaders have stood before the world as voices of climate awareness, reminding humanity that if the Maldives sinks, others will follow. Friends across the sea. For a small nation, the Maldives hold surprising diplomatic weight. Sri Lanka is its closest friend, bound by shared culture and language, while India provides aid and security, though the relationship is sometimes complicated. China has invested heavily in infrastructure, including the bridge that links Malé to its airport island, signaling shifting alliances. The United Kingdom remains a historic partner, while Singapore and the UAE are admired as models of how small, resource-limited nations can thrive. The future of the islands. The Maldives is both paradise and paradox. It is fragile, its islands can vanish under the waves with a small rise in sea level. Yet it is also strong, powered by its people's resilience, traditions, and adaptability. The nation invests in renewable energy, coral conservation, and ecotourism, seeking to balance modern luxuries with environmental responsibility. To visit the Maldives is to witness a place where land and sea are inseparable, where history is etched in coral, and where culture flows like the tides. It is a country that reminds us, even at the lowest point on earth, a people can rise with dignity, color, and hope.